Welcome to my miniature studio for another day of miniatures, and I have been playing with my 3D stuff today. Something for the Tudor house, so haven't forgotten that, and trying to finish my little budgie cage, and so I'll show you what I've been doing. So with the budgie cage, it needed to have nesting boxes, so I made those out of cardboard. And then there's a little ladder in there that I made the budgies using my 3D doodle pen. And then I decided I better make something for the budgies to sit on. Well, actually, I've got, my budgies aren't budgies, my budgies are lovebirds, actually. And I made a little tree out of, from my 3D doodle pen, which I'm going to show you how I did that in a minute. And I stuck my birds all over it. And now I'm going to put it in here, but it won't sit there properly because it's not flat. I'll get that in there. I have to bend it over a little bit. Oh, but go that way. I've been a bit, I'll cut that little bit off because it's starting to annoy me. And slip it in there, and it will showcase the little birds. Now, I did a budgie tutorial on a previous video, and Roger will put the link on at the end of this one. And so this will be ideal to show off your budgies. So that was a bit of time worth spending. Now with this 3D doodle pen I got for a present and it just takes a while to learn how to use it. You've really got to practice. It's got an on-off switch, and then it's got two buttons. You can go fast or you can go slow, and it's got a piece of fibre on a rod that fits in here and it feeds through. And I was making the tree out of this, which is great, a great colour for the tree. But I'll also make a little ladder and show you how I did the ladder. Now, once it's going, it's very hard to do straight lines, I've noticed. And so I don't do straight lines, I do little wiggly ones, and I had more control over it. So you press the button once to get it to go, and then you press the button again to make it stop. And I have a little change of tone. There we are, and it will start to go in a minute. Oops. Press it again, John. Oh, it's not behaving itself. Just a moment. Here we go. Now I've made a loopy bit. Never mind. You can cut that off. So I'm just doing tiny little wriggly bits because I find that I've got more control. And I get the line, the thickness that I want, and then I just press it. I can cut those bumps off with the scissors. I'll do another line. So it's going to go now. I was pressing the wrong button before, and I've just done it again. Hang on. I've got to keep my finger off that little button. There we go. Now I'm going to try and do those cross bits without making a mess. I can cut those bits off with the scissors, I'm not worrying about them. It's a bit thick. See what I mean about practicing? It's really important to practice. That's a bit better. Right, well see, I can trim that up to suit myself, like I did with the other little white one, and there's a little white one there. And for the tree, it's much easier when you're doing trees because it's much more freehand. This just comes off the paper, by the way, when it's hardened. You can draw your tree if you want to, but I will just do it freehand. And I'll start at the top. And this is on fast, so I'll have to get cracking. And I'll come down the trunk, and I'll go out a little bit the base. I'll go back up the trunk. Doesn't matter at the moment if it's a bit squiggy. And now I'm going to go back and make it a bit bumpier, and this is the bark. So this is one place where you can do bumpy stuff and it doesn't matter. And I'm just creating the bark. The minute it's hitting the paper, it's actually solidifying. So I'll just get that going in there. Okay, now I'm going to go back up now and I'm going to do some more branches, and I've realised that I've got to do ones that go out that way for my budgies to sit on. Whoops. Jill, press the button. I'll cut that piece off. Very easy to do that. I must admit you do waste a bit of fibre while you're learning to use this, not play with it, use it. We'll go out again and press the button, and then we'll do another branch over there. Press the button, and I think that if you had a small budgie thingy, that's probably quite enough. You don't really want any more, but I might just do another branch down here in case I find I've made it too tall. And then for the base, what I did was I just did a circle and I'll make this a little bit, not quite a circle because the base is wider. And so that'll be fine to stick it on when I'm ready to do that. Now the other thing that I did do with my other little tree was I turned it over and I did another layer on the other side to give it a more 3D look. To hold this. So it sticks onto it quite well, it's the heat. And I found because I'm creative, if I swipe the fibre while it's still hot, it just goes flat. And it's much more tree-like. So there we go. So then what I did was I just trimmed the base a little bit to suit myself. Just using scissors, or you can use a wire cutter, one of those. I'll just cut off some of these fiddly bits that I don't want. I'll take that one off, and they've got plenty of nice even branches. And then what I'll do is I'll cut that a bit more even at the bottom. This is just using what you would usually use for your wire. And then I will glue that on with Yoo-hoo glue or super glue, and then that will be ready to go for birds. So the other thing I was doing with my 3D stuff was I was printing some things for the Tudor house, for the kitchen. I did a few while I was at it. These are going to be storage jars, and these are, I only need one per kitchen, but I made a few because I'm going to a show later on in the year and I can sell some. And so these are done with a black fibre, but I can paint these. I just thought I would show you how easy the paint goes on this 3D stuff, and you can get the right effect that you want. And I thought I would, if I've got a bigger brush there, big brush, yes I have. I thought I would make my cauldrons a little bit rusty looking. So I can just wipe over a rusty colour coat with the paint, and I'll just smooth that a little bit with my finger so that it sort of doesn't look odd. And just see how easy that paint, this is just acrylic paint, goes over the 3D stuff. Never have any problems with it. If you do, just give it a wipe over with a bit of vinegar and it tends to roughen up the surface a little bit so the paint sticks, but I've never really had to do that. So that's looking pretty good. It's not looking as black, and I can mess it around a little bit on the rim, make it look like it's got crusted food on it eventually, perhaps. I don't know if Henri's a very clean chef. Okay, so we're just going to get that looking a bit more like it's been used. And with these jars, I mean, you had green Tudorware and you also had an earthenware, and so I thought I'd make these look like an earthenware jars. And so I'll put a base coat of this rust colour on first, and then I'll accent it with black and with little specks, because that pottery had little specks in it. So again, it's good to do a bit of research if you're doing things like this, and then you get things the way you want them to go. And these 5, I did 5 storage jars. They took about an hour and a half to print. So there we go. So I won't do the whole lot, but that's just to show you how easy it is to paint these 3D printed objects. And look, my 3D printer was the cheapest one on the market, and I got it for a Christmas present. And I have had so much fun with it. I mean, I have used it a lot, and it's quite often working away there while Roger's busy doing his stuff in the office, and it's beeping and booping and doing all the little things it does, and it's great. So don't feel frightened about it, you know, don't feel apprehensive. I mean, I'm into my 70s, and I will learn new things every day, and I learnt how to use my 3D printer and my doodle pen and all those other little bits and pieces. So all I'm saying to you now is go for it. Okay, you can have so much fun.